Welcome back to the Jank Factory, everyone, and today we've got some more spoilers. I'm a few days behind. It was my birthday, and I just was not able to get up here and do all this for you. So we left off with Command Tower last time. We'll start off with Oko's Accomplices. 2/3 flyer for 3 fairy. That's probably a dual deck card there. It's very on point for that. Bramblefort Fink. 2 mana. For a 2/2, for 8 mana, it has base power toughness 10/10 till end of turn. Activate only if you control an Oko Planeswalker. That's definitely a dual deck card. It kind of reminds me of the cards that you got maybe 12 years ago, where you would pay like 7 and they would buff up or have some sort of special ability for that turn. Garrison Griffin, 3 mana, 2/2 flyer. When it attacks, target knight gets flying. One more in a long list of flying enabling vehicle bird things. Oko the Trickster. So this must be the dual deck Oko. 6 mana to be expected. 4 loyalty start. +1, put 2 1/1 counters on up to 1 target creature you control. 0 until end of turn. Oko the Trickster becomes a copy of target creature you control. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to him this turn. -7 until end of turn. Each creature you control has base power and toughness 10/10 and gains trample. That's actually pretty interesting. A little too slow, I would think, for constructed standard play most of the time, but the fact that he can copy a creature is quite interesting, because if you think, like, what if I copy Biogenic Ooze at the end step, and that's 2 extra ooze triggers putting counters on oozes, and would make Oko get a counter as well during the end step, and that way further down the road, if he became some other creature, he would still have that extra power and toughness boost. So that's interesting. Rowan Stalwarts, 5 mana, 5/2. ETB, search. Okay, that's, you just search for the Plains deck Rowan and reveal it and put in your hand and then shuffle. That's like the standard search for your Planeswalker from your Planeswalker deck card that's in every Planeswalker deck. Arcanist Owl, we went over this guy once already. That's because I clicked on the wrong spot. Rowan's Battle Guard, 4 mana, first strike, 3/3. As long as you control a Rowan, it gets +3/+0. Quite interesting. A 4 mana, 6/3 with first strike is terrifying to deal with if you're a control player. I don't know. I mean, the dual deck Rowan hopefully is either good or it's like the Rowan from the set's good. We'll find out, I guess, as we look further in. Oko's Hospitality, 5 mana instant, Simic colors. Creatures you control have base power and toughness 3/3 until end of turn. You may search your library and or graveyard for a card named Oko the Trickster and reveal it in a shuffle. Okay, so that could turn a weenie deck into an actual threat on turn 5 that could really swing in, and then you would have the Oko the Trickster to play on turn 6. That, I can see that being good in the dual deck, and maybe even being splashed in as maybe a one of for the 3, all the creatures getting base power and toughness 3/3. Because I can imagine that in like a Field of the Dead deck where your 2/2 zombies are all of a sudden 3/3 zombies. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Rowan, Fearless Spark Mage. 5 mana, 5 loyalty. Already looking better than the Oko. +1, up to 1 target creature gets +3 and first strike. That's pretty good. -2, Rowan gets or deals 1 damage to each of up to 2 target creatures. Those creatures can't block this turn. That's also pretty cool. -9, gain control of all creatures until end of turn. Untap them, they gain haste. So her -9 is Insurrection. And we all know how good Insurrection is in Commander. She may find a place in Brawl for sure. Definitely going to find a place in Commander. Animating Fairy, this is the new art. I love the stylistic choices that they have on these special borders and frames. It's much cooler artwork than what I think we're used to seeing at this point. I'm quite happy with that. We've covered that card in the past, though. Piper the Swarm, this must be the standard one, I guess. I don't know if we saw the standard or the special art last time. He's so good, though. Rankle, typical legendary frame, but it's borderless. That's really nice looking. Oko, Thief of Crowns, borderless, looks absolutely amazing. Oh my goodness. I like that one a lot. I always like blue-green planeswalkers without borders. They always look nice to me. That's the special Beanstalk Giant. I like it. It got beanstalks coming up all over the place. It's kind of like the growth of everything. Midnight Clock, borderless, very pretty. I like it a lot. Circle of Loyalty, borderless. Looks like the art's pretty much the same there, but it's borderless. That's pretty cool. Smitten Swordmaster. We've covered a lot of these. These are just the extra artworks. Yeah. Oh, wow. This artwork. If you guys know about the special SDCC War of the Spark, where it was kind of like the washed out looking planeswalkers, it's a very similar art style to that. That's really cool. I like that a lot. No clearly defined lines where the white is. That's really cool. I like that. Rosethorn, Elf Druid. I like the change in the artwork there. That's pretty cool. Foulmire Knight. We've seen this one too. Yeah, some of this artwork is looking way more old school Magic. Just a little bit more higher definition. Like this looks like it could have been on a card from like Fallen Empires or Homelands, but it's just much better definition. That's pretty cool. Gilded Goose, borderless Gilded Goose. That one's going to fetch a pretty penny in the future. I can guarantee that. Thornwood Falls. I like the artwork on that. I'm all in on loving on the Simic colors. It's always been my favorite. Windscarred Crag. I think the artwork is really catching these dual lands really well, personally. Fairy Formation. 5 mana flyer, 5/4. For 4 mana creates a 1/1 blue fairy with flying, and you draw a card. I like it. That sounds like a janky card that I would love to use. Card advantage, creature engine, all kinds of good stuff. Imagine pairing that with that Oko's, what was it called? Oko's Hospitality, and your 1/1 fairies become 3/3 fairies. That'd be a really nice 1-2 punch right there. Venerable Knight, no artwork for this one. When it dies, you put a 1/1 counter on target knight you control. That's in one of the dual decks, which is Oven. Oh. So now Mardu Aristocrats has a free sack outlet that isn't a creature. Awesome. So you can sack a creature, trigger all the death triggers, create a food token. If its toughness was 4 or greater, you get 2 food tokens. I don't see that being all that often very relevant, but Mayhem Devil and that are going to get along really well. Shambling Suit. Power toughness equal to the number of artifacts and/or enchantments you control. They're really pushing an artifact enchantment type deck. I like it. Mystical Dispute. 3 mana instant. Costs 2 less if it targets a blue spell, counter target spell, unless its controller pays 3. Oh, wow. So, worse mana leak most of the time, but against a blue spell, it's like Oh, geez. I guess the closest thing I could think of to pair up with that would be like Red Elemental Blast, where you just flat out counter a blue spell for 1 mana. That's really cool. I think that's going to probably take the place of a lot of other counter spells in decks, especially if they're expecting mirror matches and things like that. Jeez. Wouldn't mind running that along with like a Frilled Mystic. Alright, the Royal Scions. This is in Russian. I cannot read Russian. Alright. Legendary Planeswalker. I'm hoping it says like Rowan and Kenrith or something here. That way it works for some of the Rowan specific things in the Rowan deck. 3 mana, 5 loyalty, +1 loot, always a good ability to have. Another +1 to give a creature +2 first strike and trample. Very good. And then a -8. Draw 4 cards. When you deal, Royal Scions deals damage to any target equal to the number of cards in your hand. That's making my janky dreams of a deck that wins off of Commence the End Game and Invade the City even more plausible now. That's amazing. I really like this card. Wildwood Tracker. 1/1 Elf Warrior for 1. When it attacks or blocks, if you control another non-human, it gets +1/+1. So a conditional 2/2 Elf Warrior. That's pretty good for 1 mana. Once Upon a Time. 2 mana instant. If this is the first spell you've cast this game, you may... What? Alright. So, if it's the first spell you cast in the game, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. What does it do? Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or land card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Oh, wow. In a world of London mulligans, this card is amazing. So you basically get to dig 5 for the best creature or land that you can get from it for free if it's the first spell you cast during the game. For free. So you could cast that and then drop a land and drop an Arboreal Grazer and then drop another land. Maybe even the land that you got off of searching for it with Once Upon a Time. I can see that definitely replacing Bond of Flourishing in decks that don't need the life gain and aren't digging for planeswalkers or anything like that. That's a good card. That's probably going to be worth a little too much money to not get at least a playset of down the road. Return to Nature. That's an oldie but a goodie. Choose one, destroy an artifact, an enchantment, or exile a card from a graveyard. I like how it's the 2 mice that were the coachmen and the pumpkin that was the actual carriage, and then the wheels just all return to nature there. That's pretty cool. I like that. That's super cool, especially if they end up having like a carriage vehicle or something like that in the set. Alright, Wicked Guardian. So this is probably your Wicked Stepmother card here. 4 mana, 4/2, in black, Human Noble. ETBs, you can have it deal 2 damage to another creature you control. So, okay, so it's not going to take out an opponent's creature. If you do draw a card. Oh, wow. So yeah, it's definitely the Wicked Stepmother. That's Cinderella there in the back scrubbing floors. I like it. Drawing a card for beating your your daughter. Wow. It's very Grimm's Fairy Tale, that's for sure. Turn into a pumpkin. Blue mana 4, CMC, instant, bounce a non-land permanent and draw a card. So it's a kicked, that's cool, it's a kicked, what's that spell we're losing from Dominaria? I can't remember, but you can pay 2 to bounce a non-land permanent, or you can pay 4 to bounce a non-land permanent and draw a card with a kicker. But it's a little bit easier to cast because it's 1 blue instead of 2 blue to do that as well. It's got the adamant keyword, so if you spend at least 3 blue mana, you create a food token as well. So that'd be a fun one, you know, bounce a Steamkin on 2 or 3 counters back to their hand and reset that, get a food token so that you're able to gain some life. I can see that being a sideboard option, maybe. Fairy Guide Mother, Adventure, Gift of the Fae, 2 mana, white. Target creature gets +2/+1 and gains flying until end of turn. And then the creature itself costs 1 mana, it's a fairy, and it has flying, it's a 1/1. So 1/1 flyer is never bad. Especially since this is common, it's going to be great and limited. Enchanted Carriage. Oh, okay, so Return to Nature is the follow-up to the Enchanted Carriage. That's great. So when there's a battlefield, you create 2 1/1 white mouse creature tokens that cruise for 2. It's 5 mana, it's a 4/4, but it provides its own crew when it enters the battlefield. So that's not a bad vehicle, not a great vehicle. It's no Smuggler's Copter or Heart of Kieran or anything, but it's definitely limited worthy for sure. Murderous Rider or Swift End. Instant Adventure. They're both the same CMC. Black, cut black, colorless. Destroy creature or planeswalker. You lose 2 life. Okay, so it's a strictly worse Vraska's Contempt. But then it turns into a 2/3 with lifelink, and when it dies, it goes on the bottom of your library. So that's not too bad. So we're going from paying 4 mana to exile a creature or planeswalker and gain 2 life, to paying 3 mana to destroy target creature or planeswalker and lose 2 life. I see it. It's probably going to be very important because of all the planeswalkers that are in standard, but it's such a feel bad card compared to Vraska's Contempt. Alright, Murderous Rider, Brimstone, Trebuchet. 3 mana, artifact wall, 1/3 with reach. Tap, deal 1 damage to each opponent, and whenever a knight ETBs under your control, untap. So if you can ever figure out a way to like generate infinite knight tokens, you would be able to burn out an opponent or all your opponents with that Trebuchet somehow. Interesting. Burning Yard Trainer. 5 mana, 3/3, trample and haste. ETB, another knight gets +2/+2 and trample and haste until end of turn. I don't see a 5 mana that gives a creature haste being used for that often, but the +2/+2 and trample could be useful. Plus, it is a 3/3 on its own that has trample and haste, so it can swing in the turn it enters. Murderous Rider. This is the artwork. I like that as like a pencil sketch instead. That's cool. Joust. 2 mana sorcery, red. Choose a creature you control and a creature you don't control. If it's a knight, it gets +2/+1, and then the creatures fight each other. It's definitely on flavor. I'm hoping we'll see something like a Thud or a Fling reprint, because I'm a little sad we're losing that kind of ability in this current standard. Jousting Knight, 2 mana, Scarecrow Knight, artifact creature, 2/1. For 3 mana, gets +1/+0. If it got +1/+0 and first strike, that would be awesome, but I don't think it'd be common. It'd be uncommon then. Wishclaw Talisman. 3 wish counters, 2 mana, artifact, pay 1 and tap, remove a wish counter, search your library for a card, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Okay, so it's a tutor. An opponent gains control of Wishclaw Talisman. Activate its ability only during your turn. So, without proliferate shenanigans, you would be able to tutor for any 2 cards you wanted, but your opponent could tutor for any 1 card they want. Not sure if I like that. Not sure if I like that at all. Questing Beast. 4 mana, legendary creature beast. I'm surprised it's not like a Chimera Beast or something, because it's got 3 heads, looks kind of Chimera-ish. It's a 4/4 with Vigilance, Death Touch, and Haste. That's an amazing keyword combination. It's mythic, so wow. Can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, so it cannot be chumped. Combat damage will be dealt by creatures you control. Can't be prevented. So it stops fogs and other type things like Dovin, uncommon Dovin's minus ability. And then whenever Questing Beast deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to target planeswalker that player controls. Ouch. If you're playing a planeswalker control deck, that is a creature that you cannot let live. That has to be targeted immediately. It's hasted too, so you have to have instant speed answer for it immediately. And we're losing Settle, so that's going to be painful. That's strong. Running that with Kiora, you can turn 3 Kiora, turn 4 Questing Beast, untap a forest or something with Kiora, and then giant growth it so that it's a 7/7 with Vigilance, Death Touch, and Haste that can't be blocked by small creatures, and can deal 7 damage to a planeswalker too, and just take out any planeswalker on the field basically. That's a good card. That's a card that I will be fearing because I love planeswalker control decks. Embercleave. 6 mana, legendary artifact equipment. Maybe this is supposed to be like Excalibur or something. Flash. Okay. 6 mana, flash, legendary artifact equipment. 1 less to cast for each attacking creature you control. So you could get it out for 2 mana if you were attacking with 4 creatures. That's pretty cool. When the ETB is attached to a creature you control, so free equip when it enters the battlefield during combat as a combat trick. Very strong. Equip creature gets +1/+1, double strike, and trample. So you attack with 4 2/2 Kniggets, flash that in for 2 mana. It automatically equips to one of those 2/2 Kniggets with Vigilance. And it gets to be a 3/3 with double strike, Vigilance, and trample. Ugh, that's gross. And you can re-equip for 3. That's a nice card. Nice artwork too. Wicked Wolf and Wicked Wolf. So full art's the other one. 4 mana, 3/3, enters the battlefield, fights up to 1 target creature you don't control, sacrifice a food, put a 1/1 counter on Wicked Wolf, it gains indestructible until end of turn, tap it. So I like it. That's pretty cool. In a world where you can, get a food token out earlier than when you play this, you can drop it, and you can fight anything that's an X4. And sure, he's tapped, and you're not going to be able to block with him that turn, but you take out the X4, and you still get to untap it the next turn because you can sack the food for it, and it's going to be a 4/4 forever at that point. That's pretty nice. Wolf Tribal looks like it might be getting somewhere with all the Arlen support, and you've got the Nightpack Ambusher, you've got the dude that brings in Vodra the Wolf, and lets your wolves fight when they enter too. Carvalhandia Ranger, and this is in Spanish or Portuguese or something like that. Okay. 4 mana hybrid green-white. Tap creatures you control, get +1/+1, so it's an Anthem effect. It's a 2/2 basic, and its adventure is bring back same CMC, create 2 1/1 white human creature tokens. Okay. That's kind of a board in a box type card. Not bad for an uncommon. I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. 3 mana red sorcery, blow your house down. Up to 3 target creatures can't block this turn, okay. And destroy any of them that are walls. Ooh. That's super flavorful, I like it. But what if they're brick walls? What if they're brick walls, wizard? If they're brick walls, they won't be destroyed. Doom Foretold. 4 mana, Orzhov enchantment. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a non-land, non-token permanent. If that player can't, they discard a card, they lose 2 life, you draw a card, you gain 2 life, you create a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance, then you sacrifice Doom Foretold. Stacks control in standard, anyone? Jeez. Okay. Witch's Vengeance. Choose a creature type. Creatures of the creature type of your choice get -3/-3 until end of turn. 3 mana sorcery. That is a big upgrade to the Golden Demise. I still think Cry of the Carnarium is going to be better, but if you're up against a lot of tribal decks, this would be awesome because it's very much a one-sided board wipe like Golden Demise would be if you had Ascend. I like it. Giant Killer. Alright, so we got ourselves a 1 mana 1/2 that has a tap ability. Human Peasant. So Peasant is now a creature type. Sweet. It's Adventure's instant, 3 mana. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. That's actually pretty solid. I like that. That's really good. I like it a lot. So that's 121 out of 269. And there's nothing else new right now. So we'll just leave this on Giant Killer here. Well, that's me catching up to the spoilers from the weekend and today. And I gotta say, the flavor is still super on point. We got Jack right here taking out the Beanstalk Giant by chopping that Beanstalk down on him. I like it. Alright, well, everyone, thanks for coming by the Jank Factory and checking it out and seeing what kind of spoiler nonsense we're getting into today. I look forward to getting some gameplay footage in soon. Thank you very much, and goodbye, and happy magicking.